internet has been compromised in that Hillary Clinton and the Clintons have access to all the digital keys for all transactions on the planet. That is just astounding, how a private individual could have come to have such power. But the facts are now clear. That's the circumstance we're in right now. This includes almost all of the agencies, executive agencies of the government, and that includes the Department of Treasury, Department of Commerce. I'm just looking up that list right here. Commerce, Treasury, National Institute of Standards and Technology, General Services Agency, the GSA, the Department of State, the Department of Energy, the U.S. Post Office, the U.S. Patent Office, the U.S. Marine Corps, the U.S. Coast Guard, and on and on and on. And then, beyond that, we see the names of most of the major telecommunications players in Canada, in Scandinavia, in Denmark. The list, according to their records, they have over 2,000 key customers. And therefore, the Clintons, through their director, his name is Jerry C. Jones, have access to the entire back door of the internet.
Even
so they can go in.
The NSA is subservient
to
this corporation, Entrust, who we should not entrust with anything. And they who owns them, who runs them, that's another whole question.
Orlando Bravo. Some dude out in California.
So it comes down to a company, Thoma Bravo, that actually controls Entrust. So Entrust, let's get this straight. A Canadian company, basically the federalized Canadian telecommunications system, created this bogus excuse for what are called public key infrastructure certificates. And we had heard about this through something called the Federal Bridge Certificate Authority, which is just one of the hubs. And that hub or another hub may control the Department of Defense and a whole lot of things like that. And then another hub controls all these corporations, and another hub controls the satellites and the whole. So everything is controlled by this one way or the other. For sure, it comes back to a central hub called the Federal Common Policy. And when we looked up that committee that runs this, they simply give their authority out to a corporation. That's all they do. They're basically just yes men.
They do. I forgot to add the FDIC, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and get this, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff,
everything,
and the Marine Corps.
This explains why the Clintons never get prosecuted.
Right.
They not only are surveilling all of these things, but they have the ability to target and attack them.
Right.
And that's what we're going to talk about with the President's executive order in a bit, but let's just stay on this for a moment. So as we have been saying since the 1990s, early, patents, anything to do with technology, information, digital, whatever, which led up to the Internet of Things patent of Richard C. Walker, which again was also down there in the Rose Law Firm. We noticed this with the QRS-11 when Hillary's company, which was started here in America and then went to Europe and then kind of took over the whole world, QRS-11 controls navigations for planes. So we would say Hillary can bring down planes and trains. It controls many navigation devices for many things that are moving. Well, now we know that Hillary has been there from the beginning with the plan to put a tax on every single thing on the internet. So if there was someone who owns the internet, it would be Rose Law Firm, Jerry C. Jones, Hillary and Bill Clinton, James Chandler, that would be Rosenstein and Comey and Mueller, the same group that is still today, the same group that helped bring down 911 and devise, create the domestic attack on our own people, and then now has created the attack on our election system and basically everything.
Just think about what has happened since 1993. We had the Oklahoma City bombing. We had the World Trade Center bombing. We had Kosovo. We had Rwanda. you just carry on. You mentioned 911. It now appears when we put this timeline together that every one of these events was designed to further perfect this plan to take over the digital infrastructure. And each one was a national security excuse to increase the amount of police state surveillance on all of us.
And John Brennan, James Comey, and Robert Mueller are three of the guiltiest people involved. I mean, we went into a talk yesterday with Betsy about the fact that John Brennan was in Riyadh when that explosion happened. He was in charge of Oklahoma City when that happened. He was in charge of hiding. I forgot that they were in charge of hiding the BCCI scandal with Jimmy Carter. I forgot about Noriega and the fact the horrible things they did and what happened in Panama. These three people played musical chairs in the highest positions of law enforcement and subversive activity and corporate activity. Now it's coming out the Mueller and Comey connections were just they're rife. We've done intelligence reports on it. It's so much I don't even want to get into it. But the corruption, same old people, same way. But now we
know how they do it.
You found the keys.
The keys. They just grab the keys. They go into whatever house they want to go into. They rummage through the files. They get what they want. They figure out how they can influence the person through whatever means, graft, corruption, blackmail, extortion, whatever they need to get what they want, they go get it, and then they use it against the person until that target gives in, and then they get what they want. That's why they've stayed in power for so many years, for decades now.
This explains the 55,000 missing struck page communications, the fact that McCabe's messages we can't get.
Can I stop you there? Mm-hmm. Let me just describe for somebody who's not sure what encryption keys are, how easy it would be when you have the keys. So let's say you want to delete 55,000 emails that you know are on James Comey's PC in the FBI, supposedly a secure network. Well, if you are in trust, and you have the keys that Comey uses to get in and out of his computer, then all you need to do is use those keys and you're in. It's that easy.
Well, that's the digital part. I'm going to give a sad segue to that, which is the sad note that the FBI reopened the 4 or 5 different Clinton Foundation investigations. And this time, a number of agents went down to Little Rock, Arkansas, and they filled a plane with physical evidence to bring back to D.C. And guess what? No indictments, no questioning, no nothing. So the Clintons are very well known for stealing pertinent documents. They have people in jail at this moment who have been charged for stealing the documents they needed to be stolen out of federal facilities. They knew what was happening with the server. Courtesy messages to China for every single email coming in and out was not an accident because, as you say, she has the keys to it all. That's the reason she refused.
Well, you have the keys that observe the communication that people use while they're brainstorming before they've even decided what they want to do. So you can stay one step ahead of the sheriff forever with this power.
Exactly. And that's the next thing I was going to say. That's why the Clintons are always one step ahead. If the Clintons are going to be charged with something, what happens? Somebody either dies beforehand on the way there. Now, you know how many Clintonites have died going to the FBI, going there to report their crimes? We don't even know how many. But why are they always one step ahead? Why is there a fire conveniently in the place where certain documents were going to be subpoenaed? Why does the FBI do things that nobody knows who gives them the commands? Could it be possibly that Clinton has basically the SES union in the pocket of her
most
in her
definitely.
hand, basically?
Most definitely. These are literally the keys to the kingdom. She dictates to the SES what goes on.
Now we speculated.
With these keys, there's ultimate power here.
So these keys belong to a corporation. And Orlando Bravo, we don't even know.
No, they don't belong. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but they don't belong to the corporation. The corporation maintains the list of keys that are supposedly the private property of the corporation that ordered them from them.
Right.
That's technically what goes on here.
And they pay, as you pointed out, monthly fees. So it's a tax. It's a tax on the internet that nobody even has added up.
Right.
If we added it up, I can't imagine how much it would be. But anyway, that's probably a tax-free tax on the internet. You want to talk about net neutrality? How about Hillary Clinton net neutrality? She is getting a piece of the pie. She got a piece of the pie at China through Walmart, through Sam Walton, sitting on a paid position of the Walton board and getting the Chinese into the World Trade Organization. She did it with Russia, with Skolkovo, the tech city that she built and made our tech lords build for Vladimir Putin. You know, she gave him she gave $400 million to build their last uranium enrichment plant at the last time they had a nuclear summit. I mean, no one could be in her pocket more. She gave out all of her information to China, and she knew at any moment that if she wanted, she could go look at, attack, and close down any resistance to her.
Speaking of China, one of the customers of Entrust is the Government of China Financial Certification Authority.
Which is basically the whole key
and another one
to their fake stock market, their whole fake economy, their fake supposed gold-backed yuan. It's all fake. It's all digits. That's why Eric Schmidt, who is like Count Dooku, he's like the bad Jedi Knight who's gone to China to build what? Robot warriors. But that robot warrior is not in a bunch of robots. It's in the digital system. Because he knows how to use this PSYOPS internet system to control people, and he's got a system called Dragonfly. It gets cultural points based upon your cultural activity.
If I could stop you there, what I am pretty sure of is that Hillary and Bill didn't do this programming. This programming was very likely done by Google.
You, the man who is worked with the greatest programmers who created scalable social networking and the capacity for the internet to even work, as well as these keys. That would have been simply another one of your programs, some kind of recognition program, so that you would have honest connections with honest people. I mean, these keys go out and are given to anybody who pays. You can be a radical Islamic terrorist. It does not matter. As they pointed out, 17 years after 9/11, the FBI has done nothing to take down radical Islamic terrorist sites in America. They even have how many different armed encampments where they are training people to kill Americans at this very moment? You can read these reports. We've given them out. This is no joke. The FBI is not on our side, folks. Hillary runs the FBI. And what was that one thing you came up with? The smallest list of people who are in control of basically the whole world. Because once you control these keys, you control the internet, you control online economy, which is a national security interest for everyone, especially America. You start messing with this supposed free internet system, and you're messing with people's income, you're messing with war, you're messing with national security, and thus that is Trump's new executive order, which created a second national emergency on our hands, stating that we are in a cyber warfare, more or less, and that he's focused on the election and foreign and domestic, underline domestic. He took the old Obama EOs that he wrote, executive orders that he wrote, which we can go into in great detail because they're such a joke. But what Trump did is he turned it on them, as he always does, the Trump effect. Oh, you want to spend 2 years going after me for Russian interference? Go ahead, bring out all that you have. Hit me with your best shot. Now it's nothing. I'm going to turn it on you, Mr. Mueller. You are now a domestic enemy of people who meddled in the election because this crossfire hurricane CIA John Brennan started with Peter Strzok in the CIA counterintelligence department is still operating as the special counsel. So everyone involved in that is part of the conspiracy to use digital communication and otherwise, because this is a carte blanche executive order that this with.
All right, so you got it.
Amazing.
There's more to it because the video is about. Oh, wait a minute. It's about half an hour. Yes,
Okay.
about half an hour.
It's shocking.
It is shocking. If you're not shocked by now, I don't know what's gonna shock you.
Wow.
And no wonder, because I'm telling you, that one time that I asked them, what do you mean the key?
Oh yeah.
I asked them, why the Clintons? Why the
Right.
Clintons? I mean, they could have done it with somebody else. Why the Clintons? Why the filthy corrupt Bill Clinton? Why the pervert, the pedophile and sexual maniac of Bill Clinton? Why?
They have the
said
keys.
because they are the key. And I didn't know what key they were talking about.
All right, welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And wow, that is interesting. I've never heard people talk and explain how the Clintons hold the key to the internet, which, because we're in the digital age, basically holds the keys to every economy out there, because almost every country runs through the internet and through digital transactions, right? It's pretty interesting because a few years ago, I did mention about Russia creating a new internet, right? Trying to create a new internet to get away from the Western world's internet. And I thought that was weird, because if you don't like Western world stuff, you just, create your own websites and stuff. But it was more to that, right? They knew, if this is real, because I believe it, I think it is, and the reason why I think it is because Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have way too much power. They have way too much power, and so there's something there that they're not telling us, and it could be that. It could be the keys, right? It could be that they run the internet. I remember Hillary Clinton going to Iraq quickly to buy up all the oil refineries and things like that, and then making the statement that if you're not in Iraq, you're going to regret it and things like that in the future, whatever the case may be. But and all the things that she's done around the world in Arabic countries and all the other stuff, I'm like, how are they allowing this woman to just go all around the world and act like she's God, right? And it's maybe because she has the key to the internet. Okay. Interesting. And so I did go to Google and I put Russians want own internet, because I remember talking about Russia wanting their own internet back in, I think it was either 2017 or 2016, but you can see the articles here. Some of them are from 2017. So I remember talking about this 2 years ago. I said, didn't I talk about Russia trying to create their own internet like a year or two ago? Okay, so you can see December 2017, January 2018. You got one here from July 2018, November 2017. Okay, January, November, December 2017. So I remember that. I remember talking about Russia wanting to come off of the Western world's internet and creating their own internet, and basically trying to create their own keys, right? So they don't have to be under the dictatorship of Hillary and Bill Clinton, if this is true, that they do control the world with the keys. Okay, so how does this play out then, right? How do we break the system if they control the keys, right? So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say how it could happen. I'm not going to give scenarios. I'm just going to say, let's watch how it's done. Let's just watch God. Let's just watch God show out. Okay. And this month has been crazy. Abadi making the statements that he made. Many of the people in the Dinar community did not see that coming. Okay, so people are being shocked, all around. The next prime minister is going to be a shock, right? If Abadi doesn't survive, the president of Iraq, the new president of Iraq, is going to be a shocker to many people in the world. there's just so many things, man. I can't even think of right now. That information was from Benny's live stream yesterday. He told me he wanted me to watch it. So people said, "Hey, man, Benny wants you to watch this." So I watched it, and yeah, you know what I mean. That's crazy. I've never heard people talk about the key, right? To the internet, and that the Clintons own that key. And Donald Trump needs to get those keys. That he needs to get it out of their hands, and he needs to send her where she needs to go. Right? I remember Prophetess was saying that the Lord told her that they were done with Hillary Clinton. Like there's too much scandals. There's too much information being leaked by in Hillary's camp, and too much scandals going on that they are giving her over. That they are going to give her over and allow her to get taken down and go to prison. So we shall see if that happens. But so many people have had dreams of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Obama and others going to jail and going to prison for treason and all types of crimes. Okay, so many people. You can just type it in on the on YouTube, right? Dreams of Hillary Clinton, dreams of this and that, and it's all bad. It's not. There's nothing positive about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama when people are dreaming. It's all demonic, right? It's all negative. So it's pretty weird that people are still celebrating these people, but yet they're having demonic dreams. Even the people that are still celebrating Hillary and Bill and Clintons and stuff, and the Bushes. They probably had nightmares and demonic dreams about these people, and they're still praising them. Because when you idol somebody, you lose all hope. All hope is gone when you idolize something, right? You don't see anything bad with it. You don't care. They can't do no wrong. You guys all been there. We've all idolized something, and people said, "What are you doing?" Right? And you're like, there's nothing wrong with them, right? Because you're idolizing them. This sports player can't do no wrong, or this politician can't do no wrong, or this person can't do no wrong, because you're idolizing. And when you idolize something, you lose common sense, right? And so that's what's going on right now. Millions and millions of people around the world are dreaming about these people, and it's all negative. But there's still people out there praising them because they have idolized them, and they have turned themselves into non-common sense. They no longer have common sense when it comes to that person, and a retrobated mindset, right? So they have lost it. Okay, when it comes to that person, okay, they might be fine when they talk about other people, and they might be able to give good opinions and common sense opinions. But when it comes to that one person that they've idolized, it could be Justin Bieber, it could be LeBron James, it could be Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, or Barack Obama, whatever it is. They cannot do any wrong, regardless what they say. They could say, "I worship Gabrielle Satan, and you better too," right? And they will find an excuse why they can have to continue to praise them and continue to worship them and continue to post them and tell them that they love them, right? They will find any excuse. It don't matter what they do. And we've seen it happen. We saw it happen with Britney Spears when she went crazy. People were making up all excuses for Britney Spears. This is what happened. People make excuses up for Kim Kardashian every day, regardless of what she does. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just the world we live in, right? But it's crazy, man. The keys, okay? So Prophet Kim Clement said that we were going to see that there will be a break in the system. And then he paused. The dinar, right? So we have a break in the system, and then we had a pause. The dinar, right? So who holds the keys to that breaking system? It could be Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton with the keys to the internet. Because remember, Iraq has now gone digital. So Clinton's they can control Iraq's economy and the CBI and everything through the keys, right? So there is a break in the system. Then there's a pause. The dinar, right? So, and I think that pause, and I told you guys on Twitter, That pause is going to be the deception. That pause is going to be the deception, in my opinion. We shall see. We must be deceived before we can achieve. And that's the slogan I'm going with, because they're going to let the citizens know in that country everything, and then there's going to be a pause before that break in the system happens, and that's when they're going to deceive many of us. And so, man, the keys, man, they hold the keys. Looks like it seems. I looked at it, I listened to it, and I was like, man. And I'm thinking like all the power that Hillary has had, all the things she's done wrong, and she still gets to walk around and fly around the world. All the countries she's visited, all the powerful things like influence she's had in so many countries, especially the Middle East. And I'm thinking to myself, that, and then inside the secret societies, she's at the top of the pyramid. Like, how does she get there, right? Of course, Bill Clinton she's the wife of Bill Clinton, but she's more powerful than Bill Clinton inside the secret societies, So it's pretty weird. So it's like, man, something's up. She had something, and so she has the keys. Could be possible. And that's probably why Russia was trying to create their own internet as well. I think China and some others want to do the same thing, but like they said, she went down there and she was helping them out as well. And if she wants the New World Order to come, which she does, guess who else she's helping? China, right? Just like George Soros, when he went to China, he moved to China, and now he's waging war on America and the Western world. After living over here, now you're living over there. Now you want to rule, put war on America, war on Europe, war in the Western world, because you want them to go. You want the Western world to crumble so you can bring in the Antichrist New World Order system. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, this is something that's interesting, guys and girls. It's gonna be crazy how this thing turns out. I want to thank Benny. Benny told me to listen to this, so I did. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I really believe that it looks like they do have the key. And if they do, let's see what Donald Trump does. I know he just did something yesterday about classified material, and so they're going to be bringing out all the those classified materials. I'm not sure what it was about, but was it not the de facto? Was it? I can't remember what it was, but it's a bunch of text messages and emails and stuff that he's now going to make declassified, because they were classified, and he just put out the thing to declassify those. So heads are about to roll. We are getting closer to the climax, in my opinion. We might be weeks away. We might be months away. I don't know. I do have my timetable. I've already told you what that was several times. I told you the date that I like. That doesn't mean that's the date that's going to happen. It could go past that date. It could be before that date. But I've already told you the date many times, okay? And but that doesn't mean that's going to happen on that date. That's just a date that I expected it to happen because of what the CBI governor did on that date last year in Washington, D.C. So anyways, that's it. Wow. I'm gonna have to sink this in. Hopefully you guys do too, and hopefully you guys paid attention. If you have to replay the video, go ahead and replay the video. And Hillary, do the Clintons have the key? I'm gonna open the comment section. For those who stayed to the end, I'm gonna open the comment section and let me know if you think the Clintons hold the key to the break in the system, because they hold the keys to the internet. Eyes open.